Okay, welcome back. Hello. So this is going to be the second stream, I guess, that I'm doing tonight. Yeah, on account of us finishing off the last little segment of Sean's story, I thought I'd pop over and do the WolfChkin's story. So, hi everyone. Hopefully you're all still lingering in the chat box. What am I doing first? First thing is first, I can't edit. Which hopefully means I can still do a line spacing change. Yes! But now everything is going to be green. I think. No, but it looks okay. I don't wonder if I change... Yeah, that looks totally fine. Good. Good. Alrighty. Let me know if that needs to be any bigger. Otherwise, the other thing I will do is also put a space after paragraphs. Great, and that way I can see where the paragraphs are really standing out. Fun stuff, right? Like this is edge of your seat kind of content that I'm pushing out right now. We've got line spacing, we've got paragraph indentations, and whether or not to add a line after paragraphs. Like, honestly, there's not much else you could be doing right now that is as exciting as watching me format a Google Docs. Chamomile? Chamomile? I'm still a bit weirded out that Twitch puts ads over my videos. It's their right. It's a free service. Yeah. Chamomile. I can't drink chamomile tea unless it's got honey in it. My cousin showed me once. Well, she introduced me to chamomile tea, and she said, "Oh, I always put honey inside of it, so I can't have chamomile tea without honey because it tastes funny without the honey." Yeah, kind of weird. I should try it again, with and without honey. I haven't had it in years. Yes, that's right, Naz. This is I should mark this stream NSFW actually. It gets a bit steamy sometimes with the amount of spacing and highlighting as well. Oh my goodness, it's very stimulating. All right, so this is the WolfChkin's story. I don't know over Discord when I said I'd do this story. I think I said I'd try and fit it in before one of the other streams, so my apologies to the WolfChkin, who isn't actually here with us tonight for the edit. But you can watch it all back on YouTube, where all my videos are uploaded after they are... Actually, simultaneously, I double stream. Yeah. So you'll be able to watch it on YouTube. You're probably watching it on YouTube now with Chicken. Hello from the past. More steamy than your my carpet. Nothing is as steamy as my carpet. That's for sure. A premium carpet. I haven't shown you my carpet tonight, and I won't. Maybe next stream. When I have something new about my carpet to show you, I will show you my carpet again. Alrighty, and with that, why don't we dive into Salvation by the WolfChkin. This is another 1K story, I believe, so we'll probably be able to get to the first part of your story tonight, Naz, if you want to get it ready. That'll be in about, I suppose, maybe another 40 minutes. So we'll only get like 1K word of your story done if you want to give us a little chunk. Okay, Linda tore a healthy chunk from the end of her pencil eraser. The greedy pieces ground against her teeth, and she swallowed. Ugh. The clock hands moved more slowly on Mondays. Everyone knew this. It was one of those inevitabilities of the office. And yet, time would have a clawed and desperate hold over this woman before the day was through. Bill popped his head into a cubicle for the 4th time in an hour. His smirk and rank breath were easily among his most attractive qualities. That's a great way to describe someone. Linda closed her eyes as he laid his sweaty hand upon her thin blouse. Moist heat radiated into her clothes, tainting her flesh. Can I help you with something, Bill? Her usually pleasant tone had long vanished, leaving her words flat and emotionless. They were the physical manifestation of the hollowness that she felt. Well, I can think of a few things, Bill said jokingly. Ha ha ha. Oh, workplace harassment. He quickly changed the subject, but left the meaty hand where it was. Yeah, this is giving me some creepy vibes. Yeah, Bill can go to HR and get some common manners. Um, the oils from his skin continued to defile her top. I love how almost holy that sounds. If that makes sense, like it has this sort of real weight behind it. I really enjoyed Moist Heat too. Isn't that a um yeah. Yeah, this is good. It's making me uncomfortable in a interesting way. Um Yeah, like it's like when you read something that you know is dealing with something that's not particularly pleasant, but it's written in such a way that's so engaging. You're just like, oh man, I don't know how to feel about this, but I want to read more. Anyways, we were going out for drinks tonight. I might let you come with me if you play your cards right. Linda took a deep breath and immediately regretted it as Bill's musk slithered into her nose. Drinks with co-workers was the last thing she wanted to do, but she hated confrontation. Perpetually, saying no to others had never been her strong suit and had been the bane of her existence since childhood. It's how she had ended up working in statistics to begin with. The monsters of her mind would not be satiated until she had suffered properly. I know statisticians, by the way, in real life. They're nowhere near as creepy as Bill. Um, yeah. Sure, I guess she managed to say, and cringed under the weight of Bill's hand as he gave her shoulder a squeeze. She shrugged away from his touch and turned to smile weakly at him. The smile he gave her was more of a leer, and it made her skin crawl. She had to get out of this somehow, but nothing came to mind. Bill bit his lip at her as his swarmy eyes touched all her places of touched all the Bill bit his lip at her as his smarmy eyes touched all the places of her body. Sorry, I stumbled over that sentence there. She felt exposed and dirty. See you later, Bill called as he left her cubicle. Not if I see you first, Linda mumbled. I'm so tempted to put not if I sue you first. I'm gonna just leave that little suggestion there. Let's deal with this whole page. It's great. Like it's a fun little piece. It deals with a pretty nasty topic. I mean, look, there are much nastier things on the scale of nasties. Um, and I think the trick when you write about something that you know is uncomfortable is to do so in a way that makes the reader on side with feeling like they're empathizing with the protagonist or um, some stories can be written from the perspective of Bill, letting you inside his head. That's a bit more tricky to do. It's difficult to write from the perspective of someone who's committing a social faux pas, or in this case is sort of almost verging into overbearingly Bill. Like it's that sort of typical um, toxic entitled man pig kind of thing. Um, I'm wondering if there's a way that you can write from Bill's perspective, um, and still get the same feeling across that you know that what Bill is doing is wrong. It reminds me of Lolita, Nabokov's story, in which he writes from the perspective um, a pedophile. It's a very interesting story, and the way that it's written puts you as a reader offside with the protagonist. It's a really interesting mix here. But anyway, I'm going off on lots of different tangents. I just got excited by um, just sort of how the story was constructed. So you later. Yeah, I threw that one in. There's yeah, Australians can be creepy. And if you want to do a really good creep, you just dial up the accent. Um, you just dial it up. Yep. Let's deal with number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I agree, some details in the sixth paragraph were a little bit heavy. Let's go through it from the start and we'll see what can be tinkered around with. Yeah, I think the Invisible Man, I haven't seen that, but I've heard of it. Um, I think those stories, and with Lolita too, it's very clever when um, you have a protagonist that you don't empathize with, but you know what they're doing is wrong, but you're still in their story world. It's an interesting way to write a story, yeah. If you haven't read Lolita as well, by the way, it's a really excellent book. It's a really really good story, beautifully written. My goodness, some of the writing in that book is insane. It's so good. Um, Difficult subject matter though. Linda tore a healthy chunk from the end of her pencil eraser. The greedy pieces ground against her teeth as she swallowed. So I think this needs to be two separate sentences here. Otherwise, the phrases don't really work. Linda tore a healthy chunk from the end of her pencil eraser. The greedy pieces ground around her teeth and she swallowed. Trouble with breaking it up into two sentences then is that this implies that she's breaking it off, I guess, physically. This then implies that she's using her teeth. Can I just put bit instead of tore? Linda bit a healthy chunk from the end of her pencil eraser. The greedy pieces ground against her teeth and she swallowed. The clock hands moved more slowly on Mondays. You could even say move slower on Mondays, just to cut down the word count. Everyone knew this needs to be incidental information, like that. It's one of those inevitabilities of The Office. In fact, I put full stop there. Yeah, these are really minor suggestions, but just to keep the flow of the paragraph going. And yet, time would have a clawed and desperate hold over this woman before the day was through. Bill popped his head into her cubicle for the fourth time in an hour. His smirk and rank breath were easily among his most attractive features. That is an amazing sentence. And there's a sentence now. Cut it in half. Like a description that good deserves its own breath. So, yeah, just chop it in half like that. Linda closed her eyes as he laid his sweaty hand upon her thin blouse. Moist heat radiated into her clothes, tainting her flesh. You do need to make this into a second sentence, because you can't join those two phrases with a comma. I would also like a little sentence here. I'd love a little sentence here that, that generates or plants a seed of impending doom. Basically, something that explicitly foreshadows the next paragraph. So a really simple one would be, and yet time would have a clawed and desperate hold over this woman before the day was through. Something like that, for instance, like a little sort of something that kind of pushes you into Bill. Bill popped his head into her cubicle for the fourth time in an hour. Her smirk and rank breath were easily among his most attractive qualities. A clawed and desperate... I'm still coming back to this, sorry. And yet, time would have a clawed and desperate hold over this woman. No, I think that's okay. Linda closed her eyes as he laid his sweaty hand upon her thin blouse. Moist heat radiated into her clothes, tainting her flesh. I love all of this, but I'm also a little conscious of the fact that it could be stronger if we had a couple of one words or short-ish sentences. Doesn't have to be one-word sentences. Linda closed her eyes as he laid his sweaty hand upon her thin blouse. full stop. Um, you could even do something like thick, comma, hot, full stop. His moist heat radiated into her clothes, changing her flesh. Something to kind of drag out the pace a little bit. You can also conceivably not make this its own paragraph, but because I'd like to see something here to push in this description of Bill, you can keep them separate. Oh, I'm sorry, people have been chatting and I've been ignoring. Thank you, Outright. I'm glad I can be charming, creepy in my own culture, charming in yours. So that's why it's what we're aiming for, isn't it? Hmm. I think everyone should read Nabokov. What was the other one? The Pale Fire. Tried to read that, and I got distracted with something else. I should try and read that again, actually. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I really like this. Just going from what Erd's Tang was saying. Can I help you with something, Bill? Her usually pleasant tone had long since is probably what you want. Long since vanished, leaving her words flat and emotionless. They were the physical manifestation of how she felt. Um, I don't know why, but I like the fact that this rewrites this. And I'm being inconsistent with my advice, which is something that I don't like doing. Um, can I help you with something, Bill? Her usually pleasant tone had long since dialogue. It maybe loses some of the charm that the writing has in a way that I can't explain logically. So I'm gonna leave it and just have a think about that. Well, I can think of a few things. Bill said jokingly. He quickly changed the subject but left the meaty hand where it was. Suggestion here. Um, Jokingly is a little weak. There's a wonderful thing you can do with um um. So you could do things like you could relate like a little past event back with what he's doing now, as if his behavior is kind of repetitive, which might make it a bit stronger. Um, Now it says that I think the whole of this line could just be deleted. I I don't necessarily agree. It's a bit redundant. I like how blunt it is. I put once instead of usually. Sorry, I was going to suggest that before. Um, you could do lots of different things here, like her once pleasant tone, or her once pleasant tone that seemed, consigned to memory from when she first used to work here, had long since vanished. Now her words were flat and empty, the physical manifestation of how she felt. I don't mind how direct that is. It's a little redundant, but I think it kind of hits the nail on the head. Personal preference there. I think if the WolfChkin wants to come in and change it, I think that would be a good suggestion from Naz. So something like this would really sink in some of the detail about Bill and about the office where they work. And then you could extend it out and figure out a way where Bill's hand could kind of be related to the pigeon incident somehow. So you have like a couple of sentences where you keep the story going, and then this suddenly makes like sense in terms of a present and a past event, if that makes any sense. If not, just ignore it. Bill left the meaty hand where it was. The oils from his skin continued to defile her top. I like that. I like how blunt that is. Just like this. It's such a... It's so direct. It's really nice. What was I going to suggest? Be careful with the two-phrase sentences. There aren't... No, there aren't too many. Don't worry. Anyways, we're going out for drinks tonight. I might let you come with me if you play your cards right. Linda took a deep breath and immediately regretted it as Bill's musk slithered into her nose. Drinks with co-workers was the last thing she wanted to do, but she hated confrontation. I'll get rid of the word perpetually. It's a bit of a sort of sink. Saying no to others has never been a strong suit. Since childhood. See, this sentence here does double up on the detail a bit too much. It had been the bane of her existence since childhood. Unless you... Suggestion here. Unless you want to relay a story from her childhood that's related, I suggest doing this. Great way to build a character. Then this info becomes a little redundant and can be removed. So you kind of can't take a little step and say, this relates to her past, her childhood. That's all well and good, but unless you have a specific example of, oh, this is like a time that, like, deep into the, well, not deep, but craft a story around it. It's how she'd ended up working in statistics to begin with. The monsters of her mind would not be satiated until she had suffered properly. I'm not sure what this really means now that I'm thinking about this. I'm not sure what this means. I'm not sure what this really means. How did the events of her life conspire so to mean that she ended up in statistics, as opposed to, say, biology? Like, why statistics? Why is it specifically statistics that she ended up working in? The monsters of her mind would not be satiated until she had suffered properly. Again, the monsters of her mind, I'm not really sure what these are. It's a good description, but I don't know if, I don't think I know what this means. Have a think about how the last couple of sentences relay past experiences with her present dilemma. Sure, I guess, she managed to say, and cringed under the weight of Bill's hand as he gave her shoulder a squeeze. She struggled away from his touch and turned to smile weakly at him. The smile he gave, his swami eyes touched all the places of her body. Eyes touched her body is still quite an unusual expression. But having it a bit more direct may hear that primes the reader for the next... Thanks, Naz. Just got your Discord message then. See you later, Bill Cord has left her cubicle. Notify Sue you first, Linda mumbled. Can you please write that? I feel so clever with myself, with my little play on words there. You're more than welcome to use that. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's just me being a bit silly. Horrified, Linda nearly jumped when Bill swung back around the wall. I would instead... No, let's read. Let's read until the end. No, let's read until the end of the page. Horrified, Linda nearly jumped when Bill swung back around the wall. I didn't catch that. Oh, I said see ya. Linda hoped her smile was genuine looking. Her eye began to twitch under the strain. Bill nodded and left. She let out a breath that she hadn't realized that she was holding. Linda looked at the time. 2 hours to come up with a solution. She closed her eyes and began to think. She could say that she forgot that she had a friend coming over, but then she'd have to make up a friend. She had no real friends, and she wasn't that creative. He'd probably ask her a bunch of questions, and she wasn't quick enough to make up stuff on the fly. And then, she had a great idea. She'd get sick, but she'd have to be so sick, but he didn't offer to drive her home and take care of her. She had to be repulsively sick, but how? The answer came to her in the break room. She was daydreaming of drinking cleaning supplies or ink toner while she stood near the coffee machine when 2 ladies came in and started rifling through the office refrigerator. A flash of purple caught her eye and she cocked her head to the side as a plan took shape in her mind. The ladies talked aimlessly, animatedly to each other as they ate. Linda was silently begging them to eat faster and leave so that she could get at the contents of the fridge. She looked at the clock again. Half an hour had passed. Her fist squeezed hard enough for her nails to cut her palms. She couldn't stay in there waiting. The anticipation was too great. Linda had to get out of the break room before she exploded, but she couldn't go back to her desk and risk running into Bill again. The copy room had too much foot traffic to be a genuine hiding place. The bathroom was her only recourse. Rushing into the stall and slamming the door, Linda finally felt peace for the first time. She pushed her face against the cool metal of the door and began to cry. I'll cut it there. Quite a bit happened. She let out a breath that she hadn't realized that she was holding. I don't like that personally, but that's me as a reader. As an editor, she let out a breath that she hadn't realized that she was holding. Naz raises an objection to holding your fists so hard that you're cutting into your palms. I think I agreed. Yeah, we'll come to that in a tick. She could say that she forgot. I'm skipping over a little bit here because that's fine. A little bit of time to ask him a solution. She could say that she had forgot that she had a friend coming over, but just to make a friend reference from the creative. He probably asked her a bunch of questions. This is quite thick. She could say that she forgot that she had a friend coming over, but then she'd have to make up a friend. She had no real friends, and she wasn't that creative. It's a little redundant. He probably asked her a bunch of questions, and she wasn't quick enough to make up stuff on the fly. I reckon he can get rid of that. And then she had a great idea. She'd get sick, but she'd have to be so sick that he didn't offer to drive her home and take care of her. She'd be repulsively sick, but how? Between here and here, add a section about her, add a section about her becoming nervous at not finding an answer / racking her brains slash looking around the office. Something to slow down the pace. Usually what happens when you do a, like a, here's some solutions, oh no, that couldn't work. What am I going to do? I look around, blah blah blah, there's no solution. Then I see something, aha! And then she had a great idea. So what's missing from this current section here is a linker between where she's trying to think of a solution and when she gets there. Right now it's too quick, and you miss an opportunity to make her feel like she's earned the solution. Now the solution itself seems like it's an interesting solution, but then she doesn't do it. So, interesting solution, but then in the next section, she's just lingering in the break room. So I don't really get why she's like, oh, I can do this, but then she doesn't do it. See what you've done. Okay, yeah. The answer came to her in the break room, not in a future sense, but this answer had come to her in the break room. That's what you mean. But the way it's written implies that maybe I'm off the wavelength. She was daydreaming about of drinking cleaning supplies or ink toner. Don't worry about what I just wrote then. I think I was off the wavelength. You mentioned a flash of purple here, but this isn't mentioned again. And I don't know what it's referring to. I'm not sure what it means. Like from within the fridge? I think that's what you're going for. The ladies talk animatedly to each other. I think it's mold. Yeah. Maybe. Who'd keep... I need to take something out of my fridge at work. At uni. That's been in there for ages. Oh yeah, I need to take that out. Anyway, the ladies talk animatedly to each other. I think animatedly, ladies. The ladies talked to each other as they ate. Linda was silently begging them to eat faster and leave so that she could get at the contents of the fridge. Can you describe this happening in more of a present tense? I'd love to see. Rather than through a narrator summary. E.g., a flash of purple caught her eye as the ladies rifled through the shelves. If only she could reach in and take the X. I don't know what it is. But Suzanne from HR was having a... Suzanne from HR must have been having a particularly bad day on account of how much mayo she was... How many... I mean, add something like so my suggestion here is more about, instead of just block declaring that they're taking up space, give us a sense that there's actual things that they're doing that means that our main character Linda is being prevented from accessing the fridge. You can make it humorous. There's a huge amount of scope here. And it seems a shame not to make it lively, make it its own little scene. Her fists squeezed hard enough of her nails to cut her palms. She couldn't stay in there waiting, the anticipation was too great. This is 3 separate sentences, basically, so let's break those up. Be mindful of starting sentences with she. We've got quite a few she, yellow. That's not the start of a sentence, so. Yeah, just be careful that you're mixing up your pronouns, or better, that you reconfigure your sentences so that they don't start with pronouns. Free penicillin. Everybody wins when it's free penicillin. I don't know if this feels earned. In the current form of the story, doesn't feel earned. If you expand the story above to accommodate more of the frustration in front of the fridge, it might be more suitable. Time was working against her. The end of the day was fast approaching. This should have been a good thing, but it wasn't. Here, some of your sentences are becoming... so the way to fix that is to just make them into sentences each. When she finally emerged from the sanctum of the woman's lavatory, she found the break room magically empty. She sent up a silent prayer to the responsible people of the office who were busily working at their desks. She should have been one of them, but she had other plans in mind. Yanking the refrigerator door open, she quickly began to scan the food containers for expiration dates. Nearly half of the contents of the fridge were long past their best by date. Any one of these would be good candidates for a stomachache, but she had to be certain, and it had to work fast. There was only half an hour left before the end of the day. There it was, a shining jewel of salvation. Linda pulled the seal bag from its perch on the door's shelf. The liquid swashing at the bottom of the bag made her stomach lurch, and she steeled herself for what was to come. She forced out one long breath, and then quickly opened the bag. Pushing her fingers into the slime and fuzz, she reached around blindly, feeling for the best candidate, and boy did she find one. Enveloped amongst the soft folds of egg white were crunchy bits that should not have existed. She shivered, remembering the delicate tendrils of mold that covered the eggs like soft winter coats. Without a second thought, Linda liberated the rancid boiled egg from the bag and shoved it into her mouth, swallowing it whole without chewing. That's the end. Okay, I like the fact that we don't know what it is until the very end. Which means that there are a couple of things you can do before to... I'll follow one from the comment I had here. A flash of pepper caught her eye. I imagine this to be the central focus of the rest of the story in terms of Linda's goal. This is what she is after. And although is the battery low? You're plugged in. Anyway, apparently when you plug in a phone... What are you doing? What are you doing, your phone? Give me a second, I'm gonna plug my phone in properly. Oh, and now my mouse doesn't work. Great. Now my keyboard doesn't work. Give me a sec, hang on. Alright, give me a sec to explain what's happened while I read through chat. Yeah, I agree with Outrider SG. Some of the LY words here do... well, some of them are a little bit... It's a balance between using them properly and having them weigh down a bit. Double-edged sword, as you said. Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I'm up to geez, Liar, get your shit together. I'm sorry. Um Oh hey, Maze Blue, hi, welcome back. Good to see you again. You caught me at a wonderful time. I have no working mouse and no working keyboard. But yes, it's good to have you back. Thank you for joining me again. Ah, fancy that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to restart my computer because something really weird has happened. So, in the meantime, join my Discord. Say hi. I think you may be on my Discord already. Maybe not. Anyways, follow the link into my my Discord page, which is on the Twitch video page underneath where you're watching right now. Just click on the banner. Say hi. Yeah, and sit tight while I get my computer running again. Finally is used twice in 4 sentences. Yeah, gosh, I've got to make sure I keep my eyes out for that. Hey T8full, welcome back. Good to see you again. I'll see you in like 5 minutes because I have to press reset now. I can't control or delete.